let me just record it now and I will edit it. Well, welcome everyone. I have a lot of wonderful people that's in my environment. And as you have many people in your environment as well, but I'm going to keep it mute. I'm going to be playing back and forth because he likes to talk. So I'm going to let y'all say hello. Say hello, RJ. You see? He thinks, look at him. He's away with his little head. He thinks that every conversation, including the news, is about him. So, as we are guardians, parents, this is my godson. I don't have any biological children. Your children are my children. So tonight we're going to talk about parents as advocates. This is something that is ongoing. It doesn't end when they enter middle school. It doesn't end when they enter high school. It's never ending. So I'm going to get started with sharing my screen. This is going to be a series, parent involvement series. That's going to be every Tuesday of the month of November. And I just welcome you. A lot of faces that I know and some that I don't, and some people will be joining us later. So hold on just 1 second. Let's try this. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Okay, I'm going to unmute right now. And I'm going to ask, let's see. Thank you for your patience, number one. And let's see, will it pop up? If not, I might have to do it. Okay. Parents as advocates, our special guest tonight. Well, first of all, let's just say that the series is entitled the Parent Involvement Series. The first night is Parents as Advocates. Our special guest this evening is Miss Sheree Gibson. For those of you who are not familiar with Miss Gibson, she is obviously RJ's friend, but she is the former parent of an elementary child. She is now the parent of a middle school child, which is a big jump, even though it seems just a few months ago that she was dealing with elementary woes. But she is the NYCDOE parent representative for this evening, NYCSED ESSA, and the Title I COPS. She will explain what each of those titles mean because they have meaning behind them all. So we're going to move quickly. I've welcomed you. I've introduced Miss Sheree Gibson, who is a phenomenal speaker and a phenomenal woman and community representative and parent advocate for not just District 29, but she'll explain another district as her middle schooler is in a different district, yet still part of the public school system of New York City. She has a wealth of information and she will be sharing that with us. Our objective tonight, I will go over that visually. I will read why parents, could be talking about teachers and so many other people that are in the news, and we're going to keep it going. So the lovely Sheree Gibson is, and while I shared some things, I'm going to ask Miss Gibson, would you like to share just a few adjectives of who you are?
No, I mean, I think you covered it most. I will say that I still live I was a District 29 parent leader, the president of President's Council. I am still a resident of Education District 29, but I am now in District 30 because that's where my kid now goes to middle school. Um, I just really believe in the power of parents and their leadership and them being an asset to their student and to the school. And so I advocate, I started in my daughter's schools and then moved into the district level, borough level, citywide, and now statewide. Because I always say that those of us who can do, I will never ask somebody what I'm not willing to do myself. And there are times when we have to hold space. And so when I was able to be PTA, and PTA president and all those, I'm just holding space for the parents who couldn't, and so I advocate for them when they couldn't be there, because when there are times that I can't be there, they advocate for me and my students. I take that same energy to the district level, to the borough, to the citywide, where it's, you're working your jobs and you don't have the time to be at all these meetings. But guess what? I can right now in my life. So I'm going to go to these meetings and bring it back to you. And here's how we can come up with a plan on what's best for our kids. And our parents, I'm just really pushing about making sure parents know that they can use their voice to help their students' education and to help their overall development. One of the reasons I love Ms. Boone is she always reminding me and showing me the ways in what we do is modeling and showing for our children.
So thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask everybody to unmute themselves real quick just so I can know what grades your child or children are currently in. So whoever wants to, matter of fact, I'm going to ask Miss Shirley, then I'm going to ask Miss Diane Jerome, then Miss Judith Perez, then our person on the phone. I don't have a name, so whoever's on the phone. And then lastly, Mahmoud Hassan. If I pronounce it incorrectly, forgive me. But if we can go in that order, starting with Miss Shirley.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I like to see all the smiling faces. Let me see if I take off my camera. Can you not see me in the kitchen? Oh, yeah, there we go.
We can see you.
All right. So my daughter is not in elementary or middle school. My daughter is a sophomore at Francis Lewis High School.
Natalia.
Awesome. So you've been through some stages.
Yes,
and you're still
a stage.
And you're still an advocate for your child.
Yes, I am. All the way on the school level, the district, the borough, and citywide.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing. Miss Diane Jerome.
Good evening. I am the proud parent of an 8th grader at SBA.
High school.
Yeah, we're
moving.
We're in the thick of turning the pages in that book. Just going through. Every day we go through a few more. It's like, okay, what else can we do today? But it's interesting to note just how many opportunities there are for our young ones in New York. And it is truly, it's like a blessing and a curse. It seems so much like it's so overwhelming. But to know that if there's something these children really want to do, there's a school that it has a program.
There's a school that they can go to.
So just put your nose in the book and find it, and just try it on. I love the open houses, and I'm thankful that a lot of them are remote so that we can, pop in and out because of other activities, which make it a little more challenging to be there in person. So, yeah.
Miss Judith Perez. If you don't want to show yourself, if you can unmute yourself. That would be cool.
Okay.
Awesome. Hi.
Hello, boy. Hi.
Hola.
Uh, I'm not speak too much English, so I had to try to explain. My daughter, she's in the first time in there. She's sixth grade. I
Sixth
love
grade.
that.
Great.
Yes, sixth grade. It's the first time they go in that school, but I love that school because she has help and the staff is good. So I love that school.
And we love you too.
Yeah, because she has helped anything. So I love that school.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
That's so cool, a sixth grader. So the person on the phone, what grade is your children in? Okay, so we can't hear from them right now. So thank you for coming in anyway. So let's see, the last parent that's on here is Mahmoudul Hassan.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How are
Good evening,
you?
everyone. Yeah, fine. Thank you. My daughter is a student of this school. She's a sixth grader, and we have recently moved from our country. It's a Asian country, Bangladesh, from Bangladesh to here, and she's renewing this environment. She's enjoying the school, but we hope gradually she will be more adapted in the new environment, and definitely this school will give her a shape in this great city of New York in terms of education, culture, and all other aspects. So I just want to give my thanks and gratitude to the authorities of this school and you everyone for your great contribution for giving her a new lovely environment. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And we have a very strong and connected Bangladeshi community within our building and the surrounding community. So welcome.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I see, ladies and gentlemen, one of my favorite families, the Prasad family. Now, first of all, everybody at 238 is my favorite family. So let me just say that. I'm very, very biased. Okay. So Mr. Hassan, your family is my favorite family because you go to 238. That's just how I am. So the Prasad family, there's a name that says Rachel Ann Prasad. She is a sixth grader. She's kind of shy, but she came on tonight because I asked her if she can sign on, as her brother, who we can see is a 10th grader at Thomas Edison. And I had him when he was in sixth grade, and I claim all of your children. So he's doing very well at Thomas Edison High School. And Rachel, while she is shy, there she goes. I appreciate you, Rachel, for signing on and joining in, because she lives with a wonderful mother and father and grandmother, multi-generational home, as most of us have multi-generational homes or just community. And I appreciate you, Rachel, for signing on and making your brother sign on as well. So Miss Ingram was here. Miss Ingram, I don't know what happened, but if she jumps back on. Right. So we're gonna move forward. Okay.
Okay.
I just want to say thank you again.
You're muted.
Okay. So let's try this again. I thank for your patience. We actually did a run through and things still happen. So let's just start from where we are. That's right. Oh, what's happening here? Oh.
You hit PowerPoint Live.
Oh, my bad. I apologize. Let's try this again. Okay, I'll just I'll just go run past, get to where we are. Okay.
Just click end session. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, the objective. What is the purpose of the series? Simply to empower my parents, regardless of what grade you're in, what grade your children are in, to empower you, to enlighten you, and to encourage you. No one is teaching you how to be a parent because you know what you're doing. And even when you feel like you don't, we want you to know that you can get through it and learn as you go on. So why parents and guardians? Parents are ideal. You're ideal advocates because you understand your child better than anyone else. You know your child's strengths and weaknesses. What makes him or her anxious, and you know what makes him or her happy. You know if your child has a learning disability or if your child is a gifted learner. And where he or she falls on the academic spectrum. And while basically you're being a parent 24/7 and there's no pause button, many do not receive encouragement or support when advocating for your child. You must remain persistent, active, and optimistic. The bottom line is if you don't advocate for your child, no one else will. So I'm going to skip the poll and let me know if you cannot hear this, but I'm going to play this from our assistant principal. She is the assistant principal, Miss Rita Baforsh, over ELA department this year, along with other departments, but the main one is ELA, and she has a message for us. So Miss Gibson, let me know if you cannot hear. Uh-oh. And I guess what? No one can hear. Okay, so I'm gonna skip that. Useful tips. We just want you to know. Tip number 1 for parents. Some of this you may know already, but some may just be a refresher. Learn everyone's roles and responsibilities. So for my 6th grade parents, it's kind of different this year because we haven't had an orientation. And we're doing a lot of things virtually. We have parent-teacher conference that's coming up next week, but it's somehow through phone, through meetings, you have to learn everyone's roles and responsibilities pertaining to your child's grade. When searching for school staff, learn each person's area of responsibility and how they can address your child's specific need. Okay? Number 2, have reasonable expectations. That's kind of, that's a refresher because you will have reasonable accommodations for you and your family, but you may have somebody in the school telling you that your expectations are not reasonable. Stick to your guns. Stick to your guns. Most teachers do not have access to voicemail or email during the day and will not be able to respond to your inquiry right away. Allow a day or two for the teacher to review your requests and gather any information he or she may need to respond. Ms. Gibson, can you read number 3?
Sure. Don't jump to conclusions. Now, this is another one for us parents. Don't jump to conclusions. If the only information you have is what your child has told you, remember, they're kids. Everyone learns and hears things differently. So just take a beat, take a pause at what they're saying, stay calm, and listen to and communicate effectively and respectfully. And I can tell you that this is something that I'm daily using with my 6th grader, because they'll come home and they'll tell you something. The teacher said this, and you're kind of like, wait, what? The teacher said what? How? Did they say it like that? You know, that kind of thing. And you have to kind of step back and go, okay, what were their exact words, or did you interpret it as that before? So it's like, okay, so let me calm down. I don't got to call nobody, kind of thing. Let me walk it through. And then sometimes, especially in this COVID time, pandemic time, he's holding some grace along with jumping to conclusion, because sometimes they do say the wrong thing. Sometimes your kid said the wrong things that set off something, or other kids, and your kid gets the brunt and stuff. But it's still find out as much as possible before making a decision. And that one, take a breath. Middle schoolers, high schoolers, take a breath. Every time they come start something, take a breath, release it, and go, okay, and keep going. All right, Ms. Boone, next one.
Uh-oh, baby. Okay, that's not going. So I'm going to stop sharing at the moment, only because I'm having technical issues. So at this moment, I'm going to ask you to talk about the tip that I did not show, which was writing things down, remembering to write things down.
Especially now as we're heading toward parent-teacher conferences, our kids have come home and they've said things to us, or we've heard, or we've been in meetings, and you've heard things. It's like, have your little notebook, like even on this session, I already have my notebook, have your little notebook to write the things down, because there's so much information thrown at us sometimes that we're like, yeah, we're going to remember that. We'll remember that. Like, I just remembered, full transparency, I just remembered today whether I was supposed to opt in or opt out of the ESSA screenings coming up, and I missed my school's deadline, right? So I'm like, darn. And and this was, I read it, I saw the date, this and that. Last week with everything going on, it just went over my head that I missed the deadline, and I remembered a week later. So don't do the whole thing. I know we always say, oh, we're getting older and we don't want to act like we don't know anything. It's not about age, it's not about anything. There's a lot of stuff going on that you just need to write down, put it in your calendar and stuff. But then especially when you're talking to your kids and they're telling you about their day, or about something happened, or about their homework or their issue around something, like, they're not understanding a concept, make a notation of that. Because then when you're at parent-teacher conference and is there anything you want to know? Or when they ask you, you can go, oh, yes, here we go. So I have these, things. Or even you might not ask any of those questions because you can check them off that they've covered it. But it just allows you to focus where you want to talk to, who you want to talk to. Parent-teacher conferences are virtual this year. So of course, it's setting up the time. We know we only have 5 minutes. We know, especially for us 6th grade parents, we're not going to 1 or 2 teachers. We're going to like 6 of them. It's like, how do I know? Who do I go to? This and that. Use that list. If your kid is rocking out music and, then maybe music is not a priority for you. You still should talk to that teacher and say, hi, I'm Mr. Mrs. But if math is the difficulty, you want to make sure you get on that math schedule, kind of things. And you'll know by what notes that you've been taking and keeping. So please write things down. Even when the parent coordinators and the principals say, I'm going to send this, I'm going to, okay, but I'm still writing down that I'm supposed to get something like that, and kind of thing. So you have a running record and things to refer back to and for yourself. That helps. I know, I'm an organized freak and like calendars and lists and things, but even beyond that is just, there's so many conversations and things happening that we're doing that it always just helps. Like, oh yeah, she did mention that, distributive properties was something she was having difficulty in. Let me write that down. So if I see something on distributive properties, I can say, oh, I need that for my kid.
Thank you so much. One of the tips that was not shown in the PowerPoint was becoming a partner. Can you explain or encourage when it comes to being a partner in times like these, when everything is digital and everyone is not able to come into the buildings of your schools?
So I think the becoming a partner is, one, when I would do this in person, it would be like a meet the teacher night or curriculum night, and you're finding out what the teacher is like personality wise, as well as what they're going to be doing this school year, right? So I know for my middle school, we didn't do that. We didn't have a curriculum night or two. So I don't really know these teachers, right? It's my daughter's first year, it kind of thing. So it's kind of one of those things that us as a parent, you now have to maybe do a little bit more. You have to reach out and express to teachers, hey, I'm very interested. Hi, all of them in the beginning of the school year sent us their email addresses. You got the pupil pass and the dojos and whatever methods, and just saying something as, hi, I'm, Avery's mom. I saw April there. And it's Avery's mom. And just letting you know that I'm very much willing to hear, looking for more resources and tools outside of, if there's anything, just let me know, and just keeping in contact until you actually do meet, because then it's like, I'm letting you know that I'm here to help, that I want to help. I want to partner with you. I don't think I can do this by myself. You can't do this by yourself. So letting them know and starting to build that relationship. I know for me, it took me a little longer this school year, and I had to actually do the work of emailing teachers, and just saying, hi, I'm Avery's mom, like kind of thing. And actually one of her teachers had went in this rail in Class Dojo because she was just frustrated with them, right? And she put this thing in Class Dojo telling us parents, please talk to your kids because da da da. So I was like, okay, what happened here? And I responded, to it. I was like, thank you for this information. Can you please give us specifics as to what issues the children were having in the classroom? And I think it took her a moment that she had to step back and look at what, because then she sent me a private message saying, hi, Ms. Gibson, sorry about that. Thank you. Avery's not a problem, but da, 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 da. And I just kind of like, okay, thank you. I appreciate hearing my child is doing good, but you may want to respond in the big one, because you don't know how some parents are going to react when they read something like that. So you might want to put and she said to me later, it's like, I didn't even think about it, because her she was just frustrated, right? The kids were acting up and they weren't listening. And it was just one of those days that they were just bouncing off the wall. And she immediately was frustrated, that kind of like, don't let me call your parent, she could just dojo the parents. And then it was like, whoa, kind of thing. So I think when teachers really know that they have a partner in you, that you're willing to work with them, whether your student is an A student, a not so A student, whatever, we all still want to be able to support them at home. But we have to communicate that, right? Because we all got to do away with the biases that we may have about, oh, teachers, what these teachers will tell our kids and stuff. And these teachers like, oh, these parents ain't interested. Well, let's erase those biases by me stepping forward and saying, I'm here. I want to support. How can I help? How can you help me to support such and such? And, I've not had any teacher turn me down from that, and going through the years, I anticipate having the same relationship at the middle school that I am now. And sometimes, hey, if it doesn't work with that teacher, work with another teacher, works with the parent coordinator, works with the APs and the principals. If you become that person that you say, I'm here, I'm stepping up because I want to help and support.
Thank you. I think that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Our school no longer uses dojo, we used to use Pupil Path. Mm-hmm. We no longer use Pupil Path, and the parents of sixth graders, you may have come from other schools where that was how the school communicated directly to the parents. We are using the NYC school account and then Google Classroom. So we want there to be a full circle of communication, a full circle of communication where we're holding each other accountable. So if there's information that you see that's maybe posted on a social media site or our website, but you have not heard anything directly from your child, or you have not heard anything directly from the school to you, that's an indication that we are not receiving. There's a that there's no connect. There's a break in the connection of the circle. Forget the triangle. We want us all to be on one accord, because in the middle of great schools, the framework of great schools is student achievement. So when it comes to student achievement, regardless of what grade your child is in, we want all the parents to be connected to the NYC school account. And then also be involved by checking Google Classroom. Yes, your child is older, but if you can just check that on a weekly basis, that is a means of partnering with the teacher, making sure that your child is achieving and accomplishing the tasks that are given them. Okay, so lastly,
here's
I'm
the
gonna,
tip.
yes.
I wanted to give a tip, just a tip about Google Classroom. When you have your own access as the parent, you can set it. It allows you to set how you get summaries. So you can get a daily summary of your student's Google Classroom, or a weekly summary, which will show you what's been posted, what's said, or what's going back, what's going back and forth in each class can be on there. So I recently just signed up for, we were recently given access to the Google Classroom, and then now I set it for daily until I know what like they do it. I set it for daily, but I like it because I'm grateful that my kid is coming home and telling me exactly what work they have to do and what happened and stuff. But I also would have this summary to be like, okay, oh no, yeah, there was social studies homework. Oh, okay, there was math, kind of thing. And oh, here's the assignment the teacher may be saying needs to be rechecked or reviewed. So they still have to be responsible for themselves and what they're doing, but it's also just for yourself to know what's going on. So this way it's not foreign to you if something comes up, or there's something that that your kid is achieving and is succeeding in, that you're seeing like, wow, they really getting through this, that you might need to support and encourage more.
Okay, and so the last tip that I'm going to ask you to speak on is encouraging your child to self-advocate, regardless of what. Now, I'm saying that specifically because we have a parent of an 8th grader, and right now they're going through the application process for high schools, and that can be a task because the parent is not in Google Classroom when the guidance counselors have a guidance Google Classroom and they're giving information. It may go over the child's head or not be important for the child, but it's important for the parent. So can you talk about helping your child self-advocate?
So this is an important one, and one that is close to my heart in terms of I want parents to advocate for themselves, but also for our children to be able to advocate for themselves. And the advocating at 6th grade is the same and goes on further for what they do in 8th grade, but 8th grade, it's maybe different people who we're talking to now, right? Because, and it's very important in 8th grade. And I will say this, because the guidance counselors that they have, they may know them. They may know them really well, and they may not. And so them as a student, when they start talking about high schools that they could be looking at and programs and things of interest, sometimes these kids might have to speak up and be like, well, you may not know I have a robotics interest, but I do. So I would look at programs of robotics. No, not just math, kind of things or anything. So sometimes those students, because they're having those conversations at schools and different spaces, that they have to be able to feel confident enough to say, no, wait a minute, or here's what I would like, or here's something I've been considering and need that support. And that's something that comes from us as parents first, that we have to put into them. Like it's funny when Boone was telling me about this subject, I'm like, I need guidance on this because I'm trying to make sure my child advocates for herself, and it's because she came home and told me, a situation that happened in class, and I'm turning like, so what do you say? You know, and she was like, nothing. And I was like, what you mean you said nothing? You know, like that's like the holy grail. Like, what? And she's like, no, I didn't want to get in trouble. And I was like, who was you going to get in trouble from? You know, and she, you know, she was like, well, I just didn't want to get in trouble. I was like, but you wouldn't have been in trouble. That was speaking up. You wanted clarification on what the teacher said. She refused, right? And I said, well, the only person that you would get in trouble from is me. And so if you saying that speaking up was you afraid of what I would say, she was just, nope, she didn't want the teacher to get mad and upset about her, you know, potentially pushing back on her and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I got to get my kid to speak up, you know, kind of thing. I had to take a breath because it's like, Sheree, she's new school, new week, you know, it's just November. It feels like a long time, but it's really just 2 months and some change. So it's like you have to step back. But I also then said, I want you to know that you have my permission whenever you're ready. So if you have my permission to speak up, get in trouble if you need to, but I would rather know that you asked for clarification or you spoke up for yourself. So you understand that your voice is important. You know, teachers are teachers, but teachers are human, and they are able to make mistakes, but they are able to hear as well. So let's not discount and make sure that you are doing that. And it's like, I realized it was like, that's a constant, like you have to pour that into them. And they have to see you advocating for them. You have to show models of that as well as, and not just in school environments, because they take things from everything that we do. So if you're telling me to advocate at school, but then when we at church or at a dance class or sports, you're not advocating for me, then they're taking that lesson as well. So, oh, it's only certain spaces I can speak up and stuff. So we need to make sure that they're doing that, always remaining respectful, because that's I always say respectfully, you know, kind of thing, because I'd say it's like, if you're disrespectful, then people discount you from that point. You don't want that. You want to be able to advocate and speak up for yourself. And some of the, you know, we use the word advocate, speak up for yourself. You know, those words can be scary to them, you know, kind of thing. It's just like, use your voice, speak up. I'm West Indian. So I said, what's my favorite saying? And she rolls her eyes. Closed mouth never get fed. Exactly. You know, you know, kind of thing. So we know we all have those sayings, but it really goes back to speaking up for yourself. And just remembering that they have to have that confidence in it. And remember where the places that your parents, you know, we know where our children are not to, where they feel most vulnerable, where they feel most insecure. You know, we have to remind them those vulnerabilities are strengths, because that shows your empathy. That shows within. Here it is where you fear something and you're walking through it still and stuff. And so for our 8th graders, I would say for 7th grade, especially, but 8th graders, they should come in being ready to speak up for themselves, because they have gone through these stages already with you and knows that's your support. Like Miss Diane has said that they're going through the book, right? Hers, I don't know whether you have a son or daughter, but her child will probably know more about the school options than the counselor or the person supporting. So not disrespectfully, but it's just like, hey, me and my mom went through this, and these are some of the schools that I really thought of, and, you know, kind of things. And we have to prepare them, because you have to prepare them that hopefully your guidance counselor will be like, bet, let's all jump in, and not necessarily go, well, maybe this is above you, or maybe this. You have to prepare. That may happen. It's not, we know what city we live in. We know what we did. That may happen. There are some who mean well and not intentionally, but do. And so we have to make sure that, understand, no matter what it is, you speak your ground. You hear, you listen, because if they tell you there's something that you may be weak in, maybe we spend the next 2 marking periods strengthening you to be able to be a candidate. Not that it's off the board for you, but they need to know that. And they get that from us. They got that from us. So if we're pouring into them and we're being confident to them, they will be confident. But we also have to model it.
So I just wanted to say, in terms of modeling, there are some parents that are introverted, just as the children may be introverted. And speaking up and getting a review or not getting the attention, may feel like a shutdown, and don't know how to move forward. I just want to encourage, can you hear me?
You're breaking up a little.
Can you hear me?
We hear you, but you're breaking up. Maybe take the video off for a sec.
Okay, so, okay.
We got you, you're strong
okay.
now.
Can you hear now?
Yes.
Okay, okay, awesome. What I was gonna say is that if you encourage your children to send an email, if they feel intimidated in the classroom when speaking to a teacher, they can send an email to the teacher with the questions that may not have been answered, or if there's an incident or something of concern that your children may have, they can speak up by way of email if they don't feel confident in doing so vocally in class. There is always a way to self-advocate, and there's various ways of doing so. And we will be talking about that with students on the 30th, the end of the month, the last Tuesday of this month. Does anyone have any questions? Does anyone have any comments?
Come on, you guys. This is a conversation. I wanna hear what, if you haven't been advocating, what stops you from doing that? You know, if you have, you know, what other ways, or what would you do? Because that's another thing. Is like, what about the parent or the student who doesn't really feel comfortable, who's an introvert, who's shy, as my daughter always says, I'm shy, you know, who's shy, you know, how would they be? Because I'm not, you know, I'm shy in certain things, but I'm not, no, I will be right here, like, hey, hi, how are you doing? Here's what I need. But, you know, not everybody's willing to do that. So share with me. I want to hear. I need you, you experienced middle school parents. Pour into me.
Well, I'm going to put somebody on the spot. The only person I'm going to ask the question is Sam Prasad.
He knew it too. He knew it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I want you to know, I want to ask you, Sam, when you were in middle school, if you remember, because it was so long ago, do you remember a situation where you felt a certain way about a teacher not respecting you as you were doing?
I don't know where to start on that one.
Okay, I will give you your French teacher.
Really? I ain't gonna call names.
Miss Laborde, who's a wonderful teacher.
No.
Miss Laborde,
no.
Let me just say, parents, Miss Laborde is a wonderful teacher, and this student, Sam Prasad, was a wonderful, respectable, honorable student. He represented his home very well. His grades were wonderful, and for some reason, he and this wonderful teacher did not see eye to eye and did not get along. So we laugh about this now, but it's a wonderful example how the perception is different from your student. A teacher can be very wonderful with you, conversing with you, but the student may feel a certain way. It's important. What Sam's parents did was they made sure that he remained focused, and he did his job and got the grades that he earned the grades he received. So I'm just saying, from a perspective of a student, Sam, do you remember what motivated you to move forward and do well in her class in spite of how you felt?
Motivate me to do good.
What motivated you to do well? What kept you focused? Because at times you had to self-advocate.
If I remember right, it's probably for my mom killing me, not gonna lie.
Okay, that's enough. Because guess what you just said? Your mother was your advocate. Your mother was your advocate, and sometimes parents feel that advocacy means conflict. To be an advocate for your child does not necessarily mean, it doesn't mean conflict. So I just want to say, encourage parents, I appreciate each of you for coming on this evening. I hope to see you guys next Tuesday as the assistant principal, Ms. Rowland, will be present, and she will be speaking on advocating for children with special needs. And look at that beautiful baby boy. It's a family affair, so please.
Like, you got him next. A few more years, you got him next.
He will be at 2:38. He will be right here at 2:38. So I just want to encourage all of you. I do not want to take up much of your time. My meetings will be an hour. My godson will not be here every time. But hey, things happen, and we must go on. Just parents know things happen, and you still got to keep it moving. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate your attention. I will give. I will encourage you all to send any questions or concerns, regardless of what grade your child is in, to myself, the parent coordinator, at jboone3@schools.nyc.gov. If you have not received emails from me previously, please send me an email this evening, and I will make sure that I will add you to the list. We have a new website. At any time, please go and check. 8th graders, we are putting up open house information virtually and in-house as high schools are sending it to us. The guidance counselors, Ms. Mancuso is the 8th grade guidance counselor, but all three are attentive to the need to assist the 8th graders right now. But our 6th graders, new to the country, Bangladeshi children, we have children from all over. We welcome you. We're excited that you're at IS 238. We will be having parent-teacher conference one day, which will be the 18th of November. But you should be receiving, if you have not already done so, receive information from your child's teachers telling you when slots are available for you to sign up and speak to them as a group, or however they're doing so. But connect, stay informed, stay connected. Even if that means you cannot attend meetings, but you would like to get information when you get off of work at 11 p.m. The website is available, and the social media sites are available. Email 24/7. We may be sleeping, but we will read the email and get back to you with the information. Your child matters, and your child's achievement, academic achievement, and social development matters greatly to us. So be encouraged, be enlightened, empowered, and yes, you can advocate for your child regardless of what the challenges may be, and regardless of what grade or school they are in. Be encouraged, parents. If there's no other conversation, comments, or questions, I'm going to bid you all a good night, and hopefully I will see you soon next Tuesday. Okay?
Yep. And for my 8th grade parents, join us at the Queens UFT Parent Conference next week, Saturday. One of the virtual sessions will be on middle school and high school admissions, the process from a parent's perspective.
So you send that to me and I'll send it out to them as well.
I did. I sent it to you earlier today.
Ooh, awesomeness. Thank you so much. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Oh, good night, Miss Ingram.
Miss Ingram, who didn't say nothing.
Look, you know it's love. I'm on vacation and I'm still on this.
Oh, she is on vacation. Yes, the love. Thank you, Miss Ingram.
Good night, all.
Good night. Oh,
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
God bless you all. Good
Invite
night.
me. Bye-bye.
Oh, Miss B.
Emma's getting a meeting tomorrow. Rachel, show your face.
How you
Where's
doing,
Rachel?
Right here.
I'm doing good. Oh, Rachel's on the website. Everyone go to the website. Rachel's on the website. IS238.com.
No, Miss B. Why would I go
Yeah,
there? I'm
go there to see Rachel.
but my name
She's
is
gonna
all
be
over
the
this.
shining star. She's gonna be the shining star of the faith for 238 now.
Yeah.
Oh, you funny. Let me ask Mr.
Okay,
Lenny.
listen. You can ask Mr. Letty anything. He welcomes not you in the building, but he welcomes you. Listen, I will see you in the morning, but my godson is tearing up the house, so I have to go get him. Hi, Grandma. Hi, beautiful. How are you? You know they're texting as we're having the meeting. Sam and Rachel are sending me chats, calling me Grandma Boone.
Sammy, that's all Sam. I was all the way in the kitchen.
I love him. I love him. I love him. Oh my gosh. Sam,
Yeah.
good night. All right, look at the big boy.
My nephew.
I'm about to go take care of him now. He's watching the news with Pop Pop. Okay, bye-bye.
You should go watch the news.